What's going on, Fit Fam? Thought I would jump online for a quick update and also to prove to you, because I wouldn't believe this if I kept on saying it. Yes, we have the flu. The whole family is sick again. And this has been lingering for the last 2 weeks. And I was doing okay. I didn't think I was going to get it. But what had happened, and tell me if you're a dad, tell me if you've experienced this because I just don't, I'm mind boggled. I don't think I've been so sick so many times in a year until I started having kids. Before that, it was from being in an enclosed capsulation of a bus and being around people who are sick. I think that's the only time where I've gotten more sick. But everything else, just having kids, man, make you sick. So my daughter, we had to take her into the urgent care, and then she got, I don't know what triggered that. She's having a meltdown, I think, and it was so unusual, so different. So we took her in. They did a test. Came back with what is it, influenza B or something like that, some stupid. So she's got the flu, and so we kept her home, and then she had another episode, almost to the point where it was like a seizure. So we take her to the ER. And when we get to the ER, now reminder, I'm about an hour and a half away from Seattle, Washington State, but we take her to Children's, and we stayed there. I can't believe how many kids were there, by the way. Oh my gosh. The emergency room was packed with kids. That blew my mind. And some of the things you just don't know that exists if you're not a parent, I guess. They kept us there. She didn't have an episode there, so they sent us home. It was 5 a.m. Around 5 a.m. or didn't get discharged until 5 a.m. on a Friday. I called in sick, said I'm not going to be in. And then through the weekend, that day, it hit me. I got just the body aches, the exhaustion, probably the stress related. And yeah, so I was in bed for the weekend and then went to work thinking I'd be okay. I don't even know what day it is. Today is what? Wednesday? No, Thursday. Went to work. Well, from that this last week I worked from home. And so then I thought I was getting over it. And then that Monday, the Monday night, I thought I was okay. And then Tuesday hit me harder than a ton of bricks. Tuesday, mid morning, I was exhausted. I was out. And then my wife said, we're going to take my daughter in again to the ER because she was having an episode. And we'll talk about that in a sec. So we took her in. This time it was in the afternoon. Emergency room, not packed. I asked my wife knows everything about kids and stuff. And I said, why is it not packed? She goes, because most kids don't feel sick until it's nighttime. I was like, oh my gosh. So they feel healthy during the day. So we take her in and we're there and we're hoping that to a certain degree we're hoping that they'll keep us, but they didn't. But we did. My wife did get them to do a test that she wanted them to run, and basically tell us if there's any kind of inflammatory markers that are happening because she suspects that there's some kind of inflammation in the brain. Now this is weird. So the whole concept here is that my daughter, remember, we were in Switzerland a couple months ago, which I still have to show that, give you guys those footage. We were in Switzerland a few months ago. Everything's been normal. Everything's been perfectly fine. My daughter has HPP, hypophosphatasia, which is a bone disease, and it's where your bones don't utilize the calcium, and so they become brittle and soft. And so she's on this medication called Strensic. Sucker's expensive, and what's happening is apparently, and I don't know, maybe it's not the medication. I think it's the disease. It does some kind of blocker with the B6 vitamin to the brain, which causes these episodes. And the episodes start off with like ticks, minor physical ticks, clearing your throat, some OCD behavior. Like she's got this weird thing about washing her hands. There's times where she wants to wash her hands. There's times she doesn't want to wash her hands. She's worried. So it just goes down this rabbit hole of list of things. And so, man, being a dad, having kids, they don't tell you about this stuff. I mean, this is interesting stuff. So I'm worried. We're worried, but I think we're getting down to the point where, after a urgent care visit, two ER visits, we have some more tests coming up next week, and she's had an episode at least once or twice a day, and they last for an hour and a half long, where there's just shouting, yelling, crying, screaming. I mean, you think it was a tantrum, but it's not, because there's nothing that is computing. And then when she's done, night and day. It's like she's herself, loving, caring, responsive, open, communicative. I mean, everything. It's black and white, mind-boggling. So in the process, yesterday, I was just exhausted, and I said, I can't work. I need to take a day. So I took a day, and I took Dayquil because I couldn't find the Nyquil, and immediately just started having sweats. Had some some hot, cold, warmth, and then when I took some Nyquil before I went to bed, and had some weird dreams. Like, they weren't even creative dreams. They were like some weird psychological puzzle game type dreams. And then there was one point where I actually woke up. I must have slept walked into the bathroom. We have a hallway bathroom, we have a main bathroom, which is in the bedroom. And I went to the hallway bathroom, and I was wearing my robe. I wore it to bed because I was so cold. But I woke up and I was drenched. I was sweating, which is probably a good thing, probably burning something. But I woke up in the hallway and I had to pee. And then when I got done peeing, I got up at the bathroom and I started walking out, and I got my robe back on, thinking, knowing in my head, and I remember this distinctly, going, oh, I should probably wear this, but wait, it's wet, but I'm cold. And then as I exited the bathroom, I noticed I was in the hallway. And I was like, how did I get here? I looked up ahead, and we have these little, the night lights on the wall in the hallway. I look up, and there's the bedroom door, and I'm like, it's open. So I must have walked through, but I have no idea why I chose to go to that bathroom versus our main bathroom. It made no sense to me. And then when I went back to bed, I took off the robe because I'm like, I'm not going to lay in my own sweat. And as I got in the covers were wet anyways. And I was like, okay. And I was just so tired. So, all that to say, I think the only way I lose weight is being sick, because now I'm at 139. I dropped all the way down from what, 143, 145 to 139. And it's been a crazy time. So I'm on the tail end. I think I'm on the tail end. The weird is my voice is kind of groggy. The only thing that hurts is if I cough, but I don't have a sore throat. So, but let me just say, having kids, I do believe it's truly a sacrifice. You give up a lot. It's probably the most rewarding thing people ever say, but it's been a ride. It has been a ride. I think we know what needs to happen, and now it's just trying to get the doctors to do their test and then also agree that's what they need to do, to the point where it's like their idea. And then we'll go from there. And I think this will be, hopefully by next month, we'll have the medication that we need to get the vitamins that she needs. I think there's some inflammation in the brain that's happening. It's a bunch of different dominoes that are all connected, that once you knock one, the other one will settle down, type of thing. So the sad part is, when she has these episodes, it scares the baby. The baby's going to be 1 in April. It scares the baby. And then the second thing is, I can't calm her down. She won't go to me. She doesn't want nothing to do with me. And she like shakes and she'll scream. And so it's like, I'll take the baby and take her away from the situation. And then my wife usually handles everything else. Thank God. Thank God for a wife. You guys have to, if you guys are married, if you guys aren't married, looking for a wife, make sure you find one that is smarter than you because it makes a world of difference. And you could be smarter in something else. Perfect. You guys will balance each other out. My wife knows more about medicine than anyone I've ever met in my life. And so without her, I got a problem where I don't remember anything medical. There's a antibiotic that I'm allergic to. I can't remember what it is. I don't remember anything about it. I don't remember the name. I never wrote it down. There was one time I went to have a dentist procedure, a dental procedure. See, this how sick I am. I'll be talking like this for the rest of this. And they gave me this antibiotic, and um, my throat. I remember I was on the sidewalk. It was really weird, and I think I was walking or crossing the street. I don't know what I was doing, and my throat started closing. I was like, oh, this is weird. I can't really breathe. And for some reason, I think I called the dentist and I said, yeah, just so you know, I'm having a hard time breathing. And I think it was after they gave me this medicine. It was some kind of antibiotic. And to the life of me, I have no clue what it was. But they were like, oh, you should probably call 911. And I'm like, I am not going to call 911. Typical guy, right? I'm not calling 911. I can still breathe. It's just I'm having a hard time breathing. So, yeah, it was because of that antibiotic that I was taking for whatever it was. And to this day, I will never know until I take it again and I can't breathe. So, but my wife, she documents all that. She's the one that found out that I had citrin deficiency by looking at my DNA. She's the one that, my arms were, I don't know if you heard that crack. That was my shoulder. Used to be super rashy, eczema. The reason why my neck is all scarred up because of eczema and scratching when I was a kid just made it raw and it's scarred up all my life. Eczema, dry skin, allergies, all my life. I meet my wife within the last 7 years. She figures out, oh, I'm allergic to gluten. No doctor ever told me that. No doctor ever said anything about, hey, maybe you should cut out gluten. Nope. Allergic to gluten. I even went to dermatologists. Dermatologists didn't even say that. They said what you need is this shot that goes in your stomach that makes your bones brittle. But yeah, makes you blind. Well, I don't know, Dupinzic. That's what it was. Dupinzic. They said it gets it in your stomach. You got to take it for so long, but it could affect your eyesight. Oh, great. Well, you know what? Newsflash, I've had eyesight issues in the past. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So my wife, she figures out that I'm allergic to gluten. She figured out what I need for my skin, which I'm not rashy anymore as long as I don't eat gluten. We use what is that? Glycerin and lotion mixed in, vegetable glycerin seals up my skin. It's not dry and flaky except for my face because I've been sick. But she figured out I have citrin deficiency. She figured out the HPP stuff, which I'm a carrier of. She's a carrier of. She actually has it. Wasn't until our daughter was born that she knew. It's just mind boggling. So we're in the process or she's in the process, I should say, of putting us on a paleo inflammatory diet, knocking down any kind of pasta carb type thing, which we already were gluten free, but even knocking that further down with things to making sure that we don't become inflammatory. So that has been what's been happening in this last week. And on top of that, I installed OpenClaw on my laptop, and it's about as far as I've gotten because I'm like, what LLM do I go with? We'll talk about that as well because I've been watching some interesting things about AI and what's happening in this bubble. Kind of the narrative that is being given to all of us through all the leaders of AI and the LLMs, and then another one from Diary of a CEO, the journalist who's interviewed those people. So basically, the gist of it is what they're telling us and what they're doing. And she made a real logical point, which they said if you had 25% chance, so pretend you have a gun, pretend you have 4 chambers, and you put a bullet in one of those chambers, you spit it. 25% chance that this is going to take out civilization, but yet you have the other 25% chance, 75% chance that it's not, would you still pull that trigger? Literally? And I think they're like, yes, we do. We may make it. If we don't, we're definitely not going to make it. It's almost like the only way you could be a failure is if you stop trying. So, which is a fascinating perspective, I think. I think there is a narrative of trying to be first and, against our adversaries when it comes to AI of other countries, China, really. And which I understand wanting to be the first, but there's some kind of weird nuance, which I didn't know this, but did you know that there is no regulation on AI right now? That Trump, the government right now does not want to regulate it, or AI is pushing not to, the AI folks are pushing not to have it regulated. And I'm like, maybe we should. The other perspective that came about is technology has always been there to enhance people's lives. It's always been like you had the horse and then you had the car. Okay. So it was to enhance the human's life to transport places faster, conveniently, safer, out of the rain, whatever. Then you had what else? Machines and building the cars. And then you have what other machine? Anything that would enhance people's lives to get stuff done. And in this perspective of what's been happening is that when AI rolls out and and companies are laying off, who's it enhancing? The CEO? Because it's not enhancing the employees, you know? So it's an interesting perspective of it's actually replacing people. And that's what all the AI leaders are predicting is it's going to replace people. That doesn't sound good. Why would you want to replace people? Oh, it's so that they can have more time on doing creative things, or they'll will have universal, whatever you call it, credits. That's another thing. And people will have this money and they'll be bored. And it's like, is it really gonna? No, it's so the rich get richer, right? That's kind of the line here. That's the theme that we always hear. The rich is gonna get richer. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, I need to come up with a plan B, C, and D. I gotta figure out how are we gonna survive. So I installed OpenClaw, thinking, okay, I got to start building something, and then I got stuck on trying to figure out what LLM to install with it, and then Perplexity Computer came out, which is another large LLM, and then Claude Code, Claude Cowork, and all that stuff, which I haven't really dug into. But it's definitely been a journey trying to figure all this stuff out. So I will link the AI from Diary of a CEO uh, story if you haven't seen it. I'll link it in the show notes. And I guess the question is, this AI bubble, is it a bubble? Number one, is it gonna pop? Number two, can we pop it? Is that even possible? I mean, everyone's using it. I don't know. Can you pop it? What you want to do? I think you get to the point. I remember when I was a kid watching these sci-fi movies, and I don't know which ones they were, but they were always talking about credits. Credits. It's gonna cost you so many credits, and even like taxi rides, or even what was it? Was it The Running Man, or was it the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he talks about Mars and everything? I can't even remember what's called. I'm so sick. Anyways, credits for this, credit for that, and then here we are. We're living in 2026, and in order to do anything in AI, you gotta have credits. I'm just like, give me a break. What's all of these credit stuff? It's all coming true. And I think nowadays, I think the thing is with our society, the job market, where we're at, I think if you stay at a job for a year or more, that's a good track record. Because I think things are just starting to slide downhill. Good news. Within the last couple weeks, I did complete the functional trainer, putting it all back together. So that's ready to go. I just need to get healthy enough to start lifting again. And we still have to clean out our garage so there's room to lift. So that's all good. And my shoulder's been clicking. So I don't know what that problem is. but I think I need to start stretching again. I did pick up, what are they called? J Flex cross grip pull up bar because I just needed something in my office where I could just hang and stretch out and try to do pull ups again. Because man, I feel like I am starting to wither away as like an old guy, and I don't want to be an old guy. So all you dads out there, has anyone ever experienced what I've experienced where your kid just starts losing it? My daughter's 6, and there's been stories, my wife's found stories of kids being 3, and this is starting to affect them. There's other stories of kids who actually, my daughter's cousins, my nephew and niece, they had it. Completely different situation, but they had these outbursts and they were having these tantrum type behaviors, not to the point of having a seizure that I am aware of. I don't know what the full details are there, but I know that there were some issues that was caused by inflammation in the body and just having them lose their minds. They're better now. They're on medicine. But our situation is not the same exactly as theirs. So we're looking to see what medicine do we need? It's going to be different. Has anyone else gone through stuff like that? I mean, that's the thing that's just kind of mind boggling for me. And we'll see if, our baby, our 1 year old, I tell you, this is where the part where you're like, should we have more kids? Why would we have more kids? It doesn't make any sense to me. So, all that to say, one day at a time, and the rest of you, you're not alone. Whatever you're going through, you're not alone. There's YouTubers out there, there's vloggers out there. Life is a peach. They're probably not telling you everything. I'm telling you everything. It's life. It is what it is. I did write an app to help me configure scripts. So that was cool. I've been working on that project and trying to see it through and see if it comes to a point where I can release it to the public. That would be awesome. I am going to, I remember I had mentioned before, I have a school community, a SKOOL, that I haven't done anything with yet. And I'm in the works of trying to figure that out because I feel like that's going to be part of my plan BCD type of thing. So as soon as that starts happening, we'll definitely release it on here and talk about it and spread it all to the rest of you, and we'll go from there. So, on top of that, thank you very much. We'll see you in the next episode.